Good morning. Good morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is a new day. It is a new day, and it is another day that we are together. And I want to welcome you this morning on behalf of Purpose Journey Counseling LLC. New beginnings in 2025. I want to say good morning to you. Today is Wednesday, April 9th, 2025. It is 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we want to welcome you this morning. And that's whether you're catching us live at 7 a.m. or you catch this later in the day, later in the week, later in the month, or even later in the year. We want to say good morning to you, and we want to welcome you this morning. My name is Dr. Natatu North, and I am the owner and one of the therapists at Purpose Journey Counseling LLC, which is located in Cincinnati, Ohio. What is Purpose Journey Counseling LLC? We are a mental health private practice, and we provide mental health services for children, adolescents, and adults. And we do that through individual, couples, as well as family counseling. So we started about the ages of 5, and there's really no cap on that higher end, but we do start about the age of 5. So again, we want to say good morning to you. We want to welcome you. We are live. We're live on Facebook and YouTube, and the YouTube link for this broadcast is posted on Instagram. So we ask that you just take a few moments. Please like the broadcast, like our pages. Please follow us on your preferred social media platform. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please share this if this is your first time tuning in. This is going to be about 15 minutes of encouragement and inspiration for the day, for the week, to push us through as we support each other as a village and just as community, just coming together as community. So it's not going to be very long, but it'd be nice for you to share this information. Don't hold on to it for yourself. Someone else is going to need this as well. So please let's share, and let's also interact and engage in the comments section, and I'll explain how you can do that in just a second. So before we go any further, every time we are together, I do want to share this information with you. That is the number for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. If you are experiencing a mental health emergency, if you know someone who may be experiencing one, you're not necessarily sure of where to turn, you're not sure like, oh, okay, what kind of resources are available, this number, 988, stored in your phone. The number is 24/7. You can call the number. You can text the number. There are people readily available to assist at any time of any day. So this number is available. Please store it so that you have it available. Share it with people that you know. Pass this information along. I actually know individuals who have utilized this resource, and it has been very, very useful. So please, please, please keep this information keep it for yourself, but then also share it with others as well. This is definitely very viable and valuable information, and a very good number to have. So thank you so much for taking the opportunity to do that. So now, or should I say, and now, on Wednesdays, we come together for what we call our Wednesday check-in. Why do we check in on Wednesdays? Because it's the middle of the week. Regardless of what your work day is like, or work week is like, I should say, the days of the week that you work, Wednesday could be an off day. Wednesday could be the start of your week. I remember some years ago, I had a job where Wednesday and Thursday were my off days. It was different. It was different. But no matter what your week looks like, no matter what it consists of, your work days and all of that, your schedule and everything, we just like to come together on Wednesday mornings to literally just check in with one another. And this is where I'm going to go back to how we can interact and engage in the comment section. So if you look at the bottom of your screen, there are several different color hearts. This is, of course, is optional. You don't have to do this, but we welcome you to check in with us. And with that, you're literally just putting the color of heart that coincides with where you are. So you're putting a blue heart if you're doing great, a purple heart if you're in need of a little push today, a yellow heart if you're just okay, a red heart if you are struggling, and a green heart if you are in crisis. You don't have to state any other information, just the color heart is fine. And that just coincides with kind of where you are, again, right now. I always say this. It doesn't mean you stay there. You could be struggling right now, but it could be because you haven't had your coffee yet. And by the time you get that coffee and you're making your way out the door, or maybe you got to go get your coffee, but you might be at a blue heart by then. So we're just checking in, letting each other know how we're doing. And I like to do my check-in too and just kind of, displaying that, what it kind of looks like. So right now, to be honest, I'm probably a yellow heart. Just okay, not bad, not great. But it's 7 a.m. That can always change. And my prayer is actually that does change as the day progresses. But right now, yellow heart, just okay. But I'm moving and pushing forward. So the next part of our check-in is a series of about 5 questions I want you to ask yourself. Again, you don't have to put it in the comments section, but just asking yourself as you're checking in to see where you are right now. So your color heart. The next question is, how are you? And this is a deep question. I always say this is not simple. Oh, I'm doing fine. Oh, I'm just tired. Or I'm this. No, where do you kind of stand right now? Are you looking forward to today? Has your day gotten off on the right foot? Maybe you work third shift and you're on your way home from work. Maybe you're getting ready to go to bed, but how are you right now? Maybe after working that shift. So just thinking about where you are right now, whenever you are watching this, whatever your schedule is, how are you really doing? Getting down to the nitty gritty of thinking about where you are. How am I right now? Like I said, I'm just okay. So I'm a yellow heart. It's just been a lot. I've been very, very busy. Very busy. And I always say there's a difference between being busy and productive. I'll say busy and productive, but I've had a lot on my plate all month. All month is the 9th, and probably really before that, March was a very busy month as well. But these last couple of weeks have been overwhelming, to say the least. So that's why I'm like, okay, it's Wednesday. But to me, it doesn't even matter if it's the middle of the week or if it's a Saturday. It's the same. All my days are pretty much busy. So that's how I am right now, just trying to kind of slow things down a little bit as much as I am able to do. So that is honestly where I'm at right now. So that's how I'm doing. But ask yourself how you're doing. Again, you can put in the comments if you want to. You don't have to, but I want you to at least ask yourself and honestly answer for yourself. How are you doing right now? What are you planning to accomplish today? What are those things that are on your list? What are those things that you need to get done? I always like to throw this in as a little plug because sometimes we need to make sure we're just resting. We're making sure we're taking a breather. I think for me, what's kind of what I'm planning to accomplish is to really reset a bit and figure out how I'm going to slow things down, whether it's not taking on as much or it's actually maybe letting go of some of the things that I've taken on, or not going from boom, 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 boom. Everything's like boom, do this. And it's like having an opportunity to actually stop for a second and breathe, so that's what I'm planning to accomplish today. And being able to just, kind of refocus, shift some things, to be able to be not just busy, but also productive, because sometimes we're doing so much. It's not even necessarily that we're not getting anything done, although sometimes we're not getting anything done, but sometimes we've got our hands in too many different things. So really trying to slow that down. But what are you planning to accomplish today? What are some of those things that you're prioritizing at this point of your week? Next question is, how will you handle the stressors that may come your way today? Stress is inevitable. Stress is not necessarily unhealthy. It depends on the amount of stress, where stress is coming from, how you manage the stress that you are dealing with. There's a lot of nuances to stress. But how will I handle the stressors that may come my way today? Today, I am going to let's say, I think I'm going to have to take some pauses. Everything is kind of looping back to the same thing for me, my priorities for today. But I think for me, it's literally just stopping. When I'm getting to that point where I know I'm overwhelmed, if I'm getting to that point where I'm like, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. Whatever it is, if I'm overstimulated in any way, I'm going to pause in the middle of whatever I'm doing. I mean, it is what it is. Even if I'm driving and I have to pull over and reset again and regroup, refocus, that's what I'm going to do today, because that's one of the ways, for me to slow things down is to stop for a second, reprioritize, shift. So how are you going to handle stressors? Is that something that might help you, or are there other things? Again, healthy ways to manage stress. Stress is again a natural part of life, but we have to be mindful of how we respond to the stress that is a part of our life. So how will you handle the stressors? Again, I want you to start thinking about that. You don't have to write in the comment section, but please be mindful of that. The next question is, what is your motivation? What is pushing you to be able to do what you need to do? What is that thing or those things that are your driving force, those things that keep you going, essentially, to do and accomplish whatever it is that you need to do? And that could be today, that could be this week, that could be the month. Maybe you're not necessarily looking at it from a today perspective. It's like, well, actually my motivation, because I'm working on this big thing, this big project, something, that I'm really trying to achieve. Maybe you're a student and school's almost out and you're like, okay, well, my motivation is getting, my GPA to be a certain GPA or something like that. So what is your motivation to achieve whatever it is that you're trying to achieve? I think my motivation right now is just clarity, being able to not feel overwhelmed. That is my motivation, to say, okay, well, maybe you feel like this right now, but you don't have to feel that way. So if I'm moving towards not feeling that way, then now everything, and I can identify that's my motivation, then now I can identify the steps needed to achieve that motivating factor. So what is your motivation? What is it that is propelling you forward? What is it that is really kind of like the root, that's allowing you to keep moving? What is that source for you? And then the last question, which for me, I always say is the most important question, is how can we pray for you today? We're always praying. Bible tells us men ought to always pray, and we should always be supporting one another. But like I always say every week, and I want you to understand, especially if this is your first time tuning in, we are praying on Wednesdays, and we definitely speak the names of those, who may put in the comment section. Sometimes people just put the color heart and a praying hands. You don't have to tell us your business. You don't have to do that. You don't have to comment at all. But just know, like, if you wanted us to call your name out in prayer, if you wanted that to be something that, something that is important to you for today, please feel free to let us know in the comment section. So you can share as much or as little as you want to, but just know we are praying for you today and always. But like I said, particularly Wednesdays, we do set that time aside, and just understanding that, is being honest about what we really need prayer for. Sometimes it's like, oh, just pray that I have a good day. That's great. That is amazing. I pray that prayer too for you as well as for myself. But maybe as you're checking in and you're answering how you're doing, what do you plan to accomplish? How do you plan on handling stressors? What is your motivation? That leads you to a different, maybe more personal prayer. Something that you're liking now, and I can say I linked mine together, how they kind of just, and I'm just doing my check-in now. I don't prepare this ahead of time. I'm doing my check-in as I'm, here with you. And it's like, wait a minute, this is all a common theme. So my prayer could be, Lord, help me not to be so overwhelmed. Help me to identify those things that I need to take off of my plate. Those things that maybe it's like, you might want to pause on that for just a second to make adjustments, where I need to adjust. So that's like, part of my prayer, not my entire prayer, but part of my prayer is for God to do those things for me. So that's what I mean when I'm saying be very, very thoughtful. The Bible says you have not because you ask not. And sometimes we're not really asking God really for what we want. We're asking him for the small little portion of it. And God is so much bigger than that. God is able to do a lot more than that. So let's ask for the lot more and not just the little pieces because we think we're bothering God. Maybe that's part of the reason why some things we still got some things we got to work on, because maybe we haven't asked. Maybe we have not prayed that prayer yet. So how can we pray for you today? So as we're checking in, again, that's it. That's the check-in. That's what we do every week. So we do appreciate you taking the time to do that. And like I always say, whenever you do this, maybe it's like 1:30 in the afternoon. You're like, wow, this was this morning. They're not paying attention to this. Yes, we are. We are. So please feel free to check in at any point. at any time of today or whenever you're watching this, whenever you're catching this. So just to be mindful, we do have our Wednesday check-ins every Wednesday live at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, so tune in, set an alarm to tune in with us on Wednesdays. Start your day off with a check-in and kind of seeing where you are that day. And then also mark your calendars. Our next episode of our podcast, hashtag from a Christian, hashtag from a therapist with Dr. Natatu, episode number 23 will be on Sunday, April 27th at 2025 at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So please plan to tune in. Our podcasts are always fun. We have guests, we have different conversation pieces and things like that. So please plan to tune in at the end of the month, Lord willing, for our monthly podcast. So I'm going to keep those hearts at the bottom of the screen as we kind of wrap up. But our tag for Purpose Journey Counseling, every time we are together, I want to encourage you to be loving, be kind, be compassionate, and be intentional towards others as well as towards yourselves. Again, we thank you so much for tuning in this morning or whenever you're watching us. We thank you so much for tuning in, for liking, subscribing, following us, and sharing, and also most importantly, interacting with us on today. As again, we support and encourage each other. And Lord willing, we will see you next Wednesday for our Wednesday check-in live at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So again, thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday, and blessings and love to each and every one of you.